excellent information that will be shared tonight. We are talking about RISD's pre-collegiate programs. And I'm hosting. I am here to support and excited to pass along the presentation to you all. My name is Maren Brennan. I work in admissions, and I'm excited to be collaborating with our pre-college team to speak about this incredible program that we have. And it's certainly, as you'll learn, in this presentation, that there are a variety of ways to take really cool art classes through RISD. And there's, the RISD Pre-College Summer program allows you to learn what it's like to be a RISD student. You're on our campus, you get a really in-depth experience. So I'm excited for you to learn all about it. Before we get started with presentations, I want to, let everyone introduce themselves. Christina, if you could start introductions, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our info session. My name is Christina Byrne. I'm the Associate Director for Student and Operational Success here at RISD, and I oversee our pre-collegiate programs from the Student Experience and Operations focus. And I'll pass it to Noah.
Hi all, my name is Noah Fraze. I'm the Application and Enrollment Specialist for Continuing Ed. So if any of you have emailed pre-college, I've probably responded. I review apps. Yeah, so great to see the interest, and I'll pass it to Grace.
Thank you, Noah. My name's Grace George. I work in continuing education, RISD continuing education as well. I'm student services and enrollment coordinator. I also potentially may have spoken or emailed with somebody on this call, which is fun. Happy to be here. Happy everyone is here on this call. And I will pass over to Isabella.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Isabella McClay. I am the social media and digital marketing coordinator. I run all of our social media accounts. So if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at RISD Pre-College. Stay tuned for some great content leading up to the summer. I will drop the handle in the chat. And thanks for joining.
All right, and I'm Emily. I'm also an admissions officer alongside Maren at RISD, and I will just be joining today as a chat manager. So I'll be behind the scenes helping to answer questions and also facilitating a conversational Q&A towards the end of today's webinar. So just as a little bit of housekeeping for everyone before we jump into the really exciting portion of today, we'll just ask that all of the information, all of the questions that you submit to us today are through the Q&A box as opposed to the chat box. So you'll find the Q&A box if you're on the Zoom app. It'll be on the bottom toolkit towards the middle. If you're on mobile, you can press the three dots at the top and you'll get to Q&A as well. But that's it for me, and I'm going to hand it back to Maren to get us started.
Thanks, Emily. Excellent. Yes, so please use the Q&A box, especially because we'll be dropping some links into the regular chat box, and we don't want your questions to get lost in there. So excellent. I am gonna step in the background as well and pass it back over to Christina to start that presentation.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so everyone can start to see. Give it a second for the screen to show. So as you know, we're here to talk about our pre-collegiate programs. Today, we're going to talk both about our pre-college residential summer immersive program, which takes place from June 28th to August 2nd. But we'll also share information about our advanced program online, which is a year-round online intensive. And you can see the session dates there. We are currently enrolling for our spring session, and we'll have open enrollment for summer coming up in just a bit. But to share a bit about these programs, I will go ahead and pass it along to Noah, and then I'll jump back in and share a bit about the student experience in just a bit. So here we go.
Hey all, as I mentioned before, I'm the Application and Enrollment Specialist for Continuing Ed. So I handle all the applications. If you have any questions, email precollege@risd.edu. Either myself or Christina will be the one to answer those. And I actually attended the RISD Pre-College program myself back in 2006, which is almost 20 years ago, which really worries me, but that's okay. And it was a great experience for me. And I went on to be a RISD undergrad as well. So I have experience on that side of the program, and I've been working on the other side of the program for a number of years. So I'd be happy. I'm going to go through everything from that perspective. Um, so first, I'm going to start talking about the advanced program online, which is available in the spring and summer of 2025. The advanced program online, students use research, material explorations, and peer feedback to develop a college admission portfolio. The program is a mix of live Zoom meetings and on-demand video content. During the live meetings, students will engage in discussions with their peers and their instructor and receive feedback on their work. Outside of class, students will access the learning management system Canvas on a daily basis to access recordings and other online resources. You'll learn how to make the most of your space at home to complete the assignments. And since it's an online program, you're actually going to be learning alongside students from all over the world, which is really cool. So basically, the advanced program online is structured into two phases. Firstly, students will learn foundational skills through the essential fundamentals area, and that's broken down into two classes. One is experiential drawing. Students are going to use a combination of observation and interpretation to create dynamic drawings through that. And then we also have the exploration and design class, where students will expand their repertoire with design elements and principles. And then after completing those two foundation level courses, you'll move on to the concentration phase. Just one second. Yeah, so in the concentration phase, you'll choose a featured topic, which allows you to immerse yourself in a deep study of that medium. These are more intensive than the fundamental courses, and students can expect to spend about 20 hours per week on your concentration, so they are pretty intensive programs. And then the featured topics courses are also paired with a liberal arts course called Visual and Critical Language. This class features virtual museum and studio visits to foster discussions about contemporary issues in the arts and the role of arts in society. And then students who complete all 4 courses of the program will receive a certificate of completion for the program. And the advanced program online is open to students aged 15 through 18 in grades 10 through 12. Students who are rising sophomores and turn 15 within 3 months of the course start date are also eligible to participate. Beyond that, RISD's advanced program online is open to all, regardless of your experience, training, or skill level in art. There are no admission tests or portfolio requirements, so it's open to everyone, regardless of skill level. And it's also an excellent alternative to anyone who is not able to participate in the residential program, which I'm going to talk about next. Basically, from the comfort of your own home, you can develop the work ethic it takes to succeed in college. It's a valuable experience that'll help you build your portfolio, develop your work ethic, and show your commitment to your creative practice. All of these will strengthen your appeal as a college applicant. So that's the advanced program online, and now we're going to talk about the pre-college program, which is RISD's 5-week residential program for teens. So every year, over 500 creative, highly motivated youth from around the world convene at RISD every summer to attend, and it's been going on for many years now. It's a 5-week program where you'll live just like RISD students do in the freshman dorms. You'll attend classes in the same rooms and use many of the same resources that are available to RISD students. Students and parents describe pre-college as a transformative experience, and in my experience, it was. Not only will you be going to class, but you'll also learn how to manage yourself on your own. You'll attend classes 5 days a week for about 40 hours of work each week, so it is a full-time program. You'll feed yourself, do your own laundry, and explore the city of Providence with new friends. You'll also leave with several pieces of work at the very least that can be included in your college application portfolio. And pre-college is open to rising juniors and seniors going into 11th or 12th grade, and students who are ages 16 through 18. And again, it's not, we don't have portfolio requirements and we don't have admission tests, and it's open to students of all skill levels. That being said, it is a very intensive program and our students are very serious about art and design. Many of them are considering or already know that they will apply to art school. If you're someone who's not confident in your art skills, this would be the place to increase your confidence. Just prepare yourself mentally to be surrounded by highly skilled peers. We boast a diverse student body with students coming from 35 states and 23 countries. About a quarter of our students are from outside of the United States. RISD prides itself on being an inclusive community to all genders. 65% of our students identify as female. In recent years, about 1 out of every 5 pre-college students identified as non-binary or gender non-conforming. This is who you'll be working with. You'll challenge, inspire, and encourage each other to push past your limits and produce your best work yet. RISD's teaching philosophy centers around the idea of what we call critical making. We don't simply learn the right way to use materials or create an object, though you certainly will learn that. We enjoy the creative journey and allow our plans to change. Your instructors will push you out of your comfort zone and challenge you to think conceptually. You'll learn to ask yourself questions about what you're making, why, and what you can do with your materials that hasn't been done before, or at least what you might not have tried before. That's because our goal is not to just make artists who can make the perfect piece of art. Our goal is to nurture creative thinking skills so that you are equipped to make positive impact on the world. Our educators are just as dynamic and diverse as our students, coming from a wide range of disciplines and experience. They include practicing artists, degree program faculty, and creative researchers who use their practice to generate new knowledge. Some of our faculty have returned again and again for as many as 20 years. They've helped countless students build strong portfolios that help them get accepted into art and design schools all over. Other instructors are brand new, bringing with them a fresh perspective and new ideas. Each class will also have a teaching assistant or TA. They are all current RISD students who can share their perspective about attending RISD. All of our instructors and TAs are here because they're passionate about supporting your growth as an artist. Every student is going to take a drawing foundations class regardless of their major. Drawing skills are essential for working in any visual medium and are a critical component of college admission portfolios. Drawing foundations is a space for you to develop your power of observation and to strengthen your ability to express an idea visually. Traditional and non-traditional materials and methods may be used to encourage expressive and conceptual possibilities in drawing. Most drawing at RISD is done from observation, not from photographs, and we sometimes work from live nude models as well. In addition to the Drawing Foundations class, everyone, regardless of major, will be taking a Design Foundations class as well. And the Design Foundations class is where you'll really have dedicated time to develop your ability to think conceptually. If you apply to RISD, that's exactly what your application reviewers will be looking for. They want to see that you're not just picking the first idea that comes to mind, but that you're taking the experimental approach to develop your ideas further. Projects may include both 2- and 3-dimensional design concepts. And this is also the class where you're going to learn about color theory. And in addition to those 2 foundation classes, students will also build on that work by choosing a major. This year we have 20 majors ranging from film video to glass. This is your opportunity to have a concentrated experience working in one field. Majors are filled on a first come, first served basis. So if you have your heart set on a particular major, we encourage you to apply early. We also encourage students to try something never tried before. A well-rounded portfolio helps college applications, and this is the perfect opportunity to try something exciting and new. No matter what your major, you will walk away with a depth of experience, advancement, and artwork. And so we have a number of different majors. For the 2D majors, if you enjoy working in 2 dimensions, we have drawing that you can take in addition to your Drawing Foundations course. So that would mean every student takes their major for 2 days a week. So if you love drawing, you can take it 3 days a week. And you can really hone your skills and do that in the drawing major. But if you've never tried oil painting before, or if you want to improve your oil painting skills, you can do that in the painting major. And this is actually our most popular major, and we have 4 sections of it. Illustration is our second most popular major, and we also offer a graphic novel major, which is related to illustration, but a little more in-depth in a narrative work. In digital photography, you'll get access to some really special equipment in our pop-up photography studio. If you're interested in branding or marketing, or if you like to play with text, typography, or abstraction, graphic design would be a great fit for you. Printmaking is where drawing and graphic design meet. It's often used in activism since it's an inexpensive and impactful way to get out a message. But maybe you've done plenty of 2D and you'd like to see what you can do in 3 dimensions. We have a number of options with that. You could create functional and sculptural objects in ceramics, create a garment in fashion design, build a model of a building in architecture, try a variety of 3D methods and tools in sculpture, create small metal sculptures in jewelry, build a model of an interior in interior design, or try something that very few people ever get to do, which is our glass blowing major. And then we have another few majors that don't fit in the 2D or 3D. We do, if you want to get experimental, they may involve the 4th dimension of time. So you can show your playfulness in animation, show your depth in film, or show your passion in art and activism. You can test out ideas in art and science, design a better human-centered world in industrial design, create experiences in game design, and tell stories in textiles. And then in addition to the 3 studio courses, you will take 1 liberal arts course. In critical studies in art, you will read and write about art and learn about how you can interpret a piece of art within the context in which it was made. You'll visit the RISD Museum, where you'll use visual thinking strategies to speak and write about objects from the museum's collection. You'll analyze what you're seeing using the visual and tactile evidence, as well as cultural and written evidence. It's a chance to gather inspiration from what's been done before and maybe what hasn't been done yet. Pre-college culminates in a series of student showcases on the last 2 days of the program. There is 1 exhibition where every student will submit work, and 1 combined exhibition for drawing foundations and design foundations. This is the chance for the pre-college community to see what everyone's been working on. This is where your families can come, see what you've accomplished, and get an idea of the range of work and ideas that have been underway during your time away from home. Each of you will have 1 piece in the majors exhibition. Only a selection of students will have work in the foundations exhibition. After completing the program, you'll leave with portfolio pieces that you can use in your college applications. You'll have your transcript and a certificate of completion. You'll also be able to request a letter of recommendation from one of your student instructors. As you consider applying, here are some things you should think about. Pre-college is a full-time commitment of 40 hours per week. You won't have time for other obligations like SAT prep, sports, or summer employment. At RISD, the emphasis is on handmaking and conceptual development. This means you probably won't use much software, if any at all. This can vary depending on the major. Animation, for instance, uses some software, but the animation techniques focus on hand drawing and stop motion. And critique is at the core of every studio art course at RISD. It's where you give and receive feedback on your artwork and the work of others. This is not a space where you'll simply hand something in to be graded. You'll explain your decisions and have a dialogue with your instructor and your classmates. This is one of the most valuable and oftentimes the most exciting part of studio classes. And you'll get the most out of it if you're interested in what others have to say. And last, but perhaps most importantly, you can expect to be part of a creative community of other dedicated artists just like yourselves. Alumni of the program tend to say that the community was their favorite part, and many students walk away with new lifelong friends. I hope this helped paint a picture of what the advanced program online and the pre-college program are, but what does life at pre-college look like outside of the classroom? I'll pass it to Christina to tell you about it.
Thank you, Noah. I am here to talk about life outside of the classroom. So, as Marin had shared earlier, this really is a program that allows you to live and work like a college student, and specifically a RISD college student. You get to participate in orientation, move-in weekend. You get to immerse yourself into campus life. You're accessing all of the same spaces, buildings, resources that degree program students get to use. Even as a commuter, students who choose to commute do have access to the campus all the way up until curfew hour. So they're able to engage, after class, spend time in the museum, the library, the studios, etc. You get to connect with peers from all over the world. We have our on-campus dining hall, which is delicious with lots of options, a very inclusive menu. Students who have dietary restrictions or preferences always find that they're able to, successfully find things to eat throughout the summer. We have a mail and package room for students who like to receive packages. If families want to send things, students can do that. Students can also send packages ahead of time if you're maybe traveling from far away and are unable to bring so many things on a plane or a train. You're able to send things in advance and we'll have them ready for you. We also have the Student Fitness Center that is available to students who want to, keep up with their steps and working out or just engaging with other like-minded folks who will be there. Residence life. So our residence halls are made up of single, double, and triple rooms. I will say that the single rooms, there are a limited number of those, and they do prioritize students with medical accommodations that may require a single room. So it's important if you are accepted into the program that you're following the residential housing application timeline and connecting with the residence life office if you have any particular questions. But within the residence halls, you do have access to common study areas, recreation lounges, and kitchens. The recreation lounges, there's always something going on. There are resident advisors that are leading each community within the residence hall. So every floor will have a resident advisor who is a RISD student, and they host different activities during the week in those common spaces. So there's always something going on and you can be as engaged as you want. There are laundry rooms within the residence halls as well. If you're accepted into the program, you will see there's an option for a drop-off as well. If you are someone who wants to pay somebody else to do your laundry, that is an option as well, but students can also do it themselves. In addition to the residence life activities, we do other on-campus activities where students get to engage with different campus partners, such as the museum or learning about scholarships, learning about admissions, different talks that we host, panelists with. We try to get some RISD students to come and share their experience. So we try to really offer some beneficial experiences outside of the classroom. We also plan some weekend trips that include exploring Providence or going to the beach because for those of you who may not know, Rhode Island is the ocean state. We've got miles and miles of shoreline, and it's one of the best places to be in the summer, which is when you'll be here. So we try to get you out to the beach. There's different community events taking place. Providence is a bustling city. There are, art exhibitions, festivals, foodie tours, all types of things happening during the summer. And we try to, make sure that our students are able to engage in those as much as they want. We also host the traditional RISD Artist Ball, the Pre-College Artist Ball, which is essentially artist prom. It's a really fun time to be expressive and come and just dance, listen to music, use the photo booth, kind of just shake out some of the stress that you may be experiencing during class and have some fun. It's one of my most favorite nights of the program. And then, of course, the exhibitions, as Noah mentioned, the exhibitions really are a fun way to show off the hard work that you've been putting in all summer. It's open to the community. It's open to your family, friends, whoever wants to come and kind of see and share in your success. It's a really fun time on campus and, kind of is a nice way to end the program and celebrate all of your hard work. We take wellness and safety very seriously as well. Of course, students are minors, so that is top priority, that we are keeping students safe. Students will have access to our health services team, and that can be, just routine checkups if you're not feeling well, if you need different, guidance on, getting outside, care and a specialty doctor, our health services team will help to do that. We also offer our counseling and psychological services, so students are able to make appointments with therapists for talk therapy. We also encourage students who may already be engaged in a therapeutic relationship to keep those support systems in place. It is a very intensive program. It's a new experience. There can be a sense of culture shock, and we always encourage students to keep their support systems in place. But if you need support while you're there, we have a team of folks ready to help. We offer academic support, which includes our disability support services. So for students who may have an IEP in their home school, or they require additional accommodations to succeed in the classroom, it's really important to connect with our disability support services office to make sure that those accommodations are in place on the first day of class. So if you're accepted into the program, it's important to start connecting with that office to make sure you have everything you need. We again encourage students, if you already have accommodations within your home high school, to keep those in place. You may think that you may not need them because you're doing a topic that you really love and you're really interested in, but we find that with the intensive course load, it's really important to have those support systems that you have had in place throughout the year, that you have them during the program. Our RISD Rides service is great. It is a van that will drive students all over campus in the evening time. So it starts at 5 p.m. and goes till curfew. So if you're not comfortable, walking back after a long night of class and you want it to drive you up the hill, you can get on your phone, go on the app, request a RISD Rides. It's a really safe way to get you from point A to point B during the evening time. And we also have our public safety team. We have public safety officers that are on patrol 24/7. They are stationed in certain buildings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they take very, very cautious care of our pre-college students while they're on campus. And we always try to make sure that students know where to find those people, how to access them, and make sure that families are feeling secure in having their students stay with us. Some other campus resources that pre-college students get to access is our nature lab, the RISD Museum, the Fleet Library, which is one of the most beautiful buildings on campus. You will have access to RISD studios and equipment. There will also be access to the studios during after class as well, when you're having to do homework. Those are monitored by our TAs. And we also have computer labs on campus if you're needing to work in any kind of specialty space. So how to apply? Our website is precollege.risd.edu, and then you can scroll down and see the learn more, apply now. You need to set up a student account with obviously your student name plus email. We do encourage that the student uses their email address for their application so that they can be in the know of the status of their application, and then furthermore, all the requirements that are needed until you get to campus. We try not to have the parent or guardian use their email because we really want the students to get comfortable in taking ownership over their experience and being able to have all the updated emails. There is a parent guardian signature required, and there is 4 questions that students have to provide a short response to. In addition to the above information, we do offer a limited number of scholarships. These are full scholarships that will cover the cost of tuition and room and board. They also will cover a dollar amount in some supplies as well. So in addition to the parent guardian signature, the 4 question responses, we do require a letter of recommendation from guidance counselor, teacher, or an arts mentor. You will need an unofficial transcript, a tax return, and then there's other recent pay stub and other financial information that you'll see within that scholarship application. So when you go to apply, you're given the choice to apply regular admission or scholarship. The scholarship application deadline is Friday, January 24th. For regular admission, we accept applications on a rolling basis, so there is no firm deadline there, but it's very important to note that the scholarship deadline, that is firm, and we are unable to take any applications after that date. This is our contact info, so if you want to write that down or take a picture, if there's something we don't get to cover, in the questions on this call, we certainly welcome you to email us, to call us, and we're happy to answer as many questions as you have. Myself, Noah, Grace, we're always happy to chat with people to make sure you have all the information that you need, that you're making the best and informed decision on whether or not, you want to apply to RISD pre-college. So I think that is it. And I think it's time to open it up to the questions.
Wonderful. That was fantastic. It truly made me want to sign up for pre-college, but
Right?
that
Same.
time has passed. My time for that has
Yeah.
passed. But thank you.
Oh.
So we had a lot of wonderful questions. I do want to start with advanced program online, because we had some questions in regards to the structure of that, and specifically someone asked, for advanced program online, can a student enroll for fundamental courses in spring 2025 and then concentration courses in the summer of 2025?
Yep. So you can sign up for your fundamentals in the spring and then complete the program with the concentration in the summer, or you can do the whole program in summer, and you would complete the fundamentals in the first half of the summer and the concentration in the second half. So, but yes, you definitely can take that in the spring.
Fantastic. And even though it was spoken about in the presentation, can you kind of go over the structure of those online, the advanced program online, and someone was asking the format of the spring virtual program, how many hours of synchronous activity per week and when, how many hours of asynchronous activity?
Yeah. So let me just pull it up. So it's actually all of that information is right on our website in a very detailed and visually helpful way under, I think someone in my team can probably drop that link in the chat, but during the spring session, students will meet live on the weekends. So obviously students are in school during the daytime. So it's a mix of asynchronous, in which you're engaging with the Canvas learning management portal, and then you will have your live sessions on the weekend where you'll have the opportunity to meet live with your peers and your instructor. And then for the spring sessions, it is about 20 hours, 10 hours of work per week. During the summer, it's 20 hours of work per week.
Excellent. Fantastic. Wonderful. So a lot of questions are also now speaking to the workload, and I think specifically for the pre-college summer immersive. So can you speak more to, the balance of work with, whether it be in foundational classes or their major? It is wonderfully mapped out as well, and I can drop another link for the pre-college program of how it's mapped out. But if you can speak to the workload. I know us in admissions, we also get those kinds of questions too when it comes to the workload at RISD.
Yeah, so you can expect to spend one full day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in your drawing foundations class, one full day in your design foundations class, 9 to 4. Then there's 2 full days of your major, so 9 to 4 on both of those days. And then on your 5th day, it is a half day with just 2 hours of your critical studies, right? So the critical studies is a liberal arts course that is a lot less time. There's not as much assignments and work that's being done. But with your foundations and your major, there is quite a bit of work. So, students can really expect to spend most of their evenings doing work. There are assignments that are given weekly. So typically something will be assigned, let's say on your Monday class or Tuesday class, and then you're working on it during that week. And then by the next week, you're typically, either submitting that, having your critique, going through different peer-to-peer feedback phases. So each of the classes, drawing, design, and your major will assign homework for each night. We always encourage students to really try to get a head start on their homework, take advantage of your TA being in the classroom. If you have questions right after class, taking advantage of the instructor being there, but you can expect to spend about 20 hours at least per week doing homework. But you do have 4 full days with 1 half day.
Excellent. Now I know you spoke to the majors really being first come, first served. So, and I believe, if you could speak to that a little bit more. And there was a question about, if you're actively taking a major that you've chosen and been, selected for, considering the first come, first served basis, what if students aren't quite enthused about their major once they start? Is it possible to switch majors?
Not really, no. We tend to, fill the program and don't have any wiggle room with any majors. And so, if a student, I would say a lot of students spend the first 3 days kind of like, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And this is really intense. But we've got a lot of dedicated, experienced people on staff that help to walk students through that experience of being able to kind of intake the new experience, intake the new spaces that they're in, to get a better, just a better feeling, a better understanding of that they can be okay in this major, and that there are ways to work through these kind of, new shocking, spaces. Because we do have a lot of students who are, traveling, going to be away from home for the first time, who are in this setting for the first time. So it can seem really overwhelming. But, most students, really start to settle in after that first week, and then they love their major. So yes, we don't have the space to be changing majors, unfortunately.
Well, I think it's also, I remember you saying before too, and is just, encouraging people to consider majors that maybe they wouldn't initially consider. Because I mean, I know certainly we're always encouraging students to think outside the box and just interdisciplinary exploration, and learning that there are a lot of similarities with disciplines while there are differences. And even within a discipline or major, there's a lot of room to experiment and explore. So you also, with what you're saying, Christine, I think, whatever it is whatever major you end up in, it can open up a whole lot of doors that you didn't really consider before. So allowing yourself to kind of.
Yeah, and it's also an opportunity, right? If you are coming from a school or a place where you don't have access to certain equipment, certain things, maybe you don't want to do, let's say you have all the access to a graphic design studio at home, but you don't have access to a ceramic studio anywhere, right? This is your opportunity. You may love graphic design, but you can continue to hone in on your graphic design at home because you have that access. Maybe if you take ceramics, for instance, that you're able to take advantage of the opportunity to be in a space where you have access to that equipment. So we really do encourage students to kind of think more broadly, and things will start to tie in, and the more well-rounded is kind of always a great approach to the program.
Absolutely. And we have gotten a question too about, students earning college credit. I do want to speak to the fact that, we certainly, when we're looking at, looking at an application, and now I'm speaking for admissions, of course, if you decide, you want to apply to RISD after going to pre-college, which it's not required to attend pre-college, but it is an excellent way to see if RISD is a school where you can truly see yourself and if you want to be here as a degree student. So when we look at your RISD application to our undergraduate program, you know, if you've taken pre-college classes, if you include those transcripts, those are great to see. You don't get college credit for it, meaning, you know, those credits don't transfer over, but that doesn't mean that the experiences you're having and the work that you're creating that you'll most likely want to include in your portfolio isn't going to be wildly beneficial. So just to clarify with that. And we had a great question about, you know, about the differences between or the considerations between having a student attend in their rising junior year versus rising senior year.
Yeah, so I do just want to touch back on the credit piece.
Oh yeah, please, yeah.
While we don't award credit, we always encourage students to share their transcript and course syllabi back to their home schools, and they may award them credit in some area. So it really depends on your host school, but we always just encourage students that after the program, check with your school. They may say, oh yes, this is eligible for this credit or that credit. It's just that we don't award it. Yeah, you know, so rising junior, rising senior, you know, I think it's really dependent on, you know, on what you have going on, what kind of obligations you have going on in your life. You know, if you do it rising junior, right, that gives you an opportunity to spend your entire junior year maybe exploring new things that you learned in pre-college. Maybe you know, did a different major and now you're wanting to more to develop your portfolio more in one area, and that gives you more time as a junior to prepare yourself to start applying to schools in your senior year. Versus if you're a rising senior, you have less time to, if you plan to apply to college in your senior year, you just have less time to maybe, you know, again, work on your portfolio, change directions, take advantage of different opportunities. So, you know, it really just depends. We have a lot of students, you know, I don't think, you know, we have a lot of students who are rising juniors and a lot of students who are rising seniors. It's really, you know, just probably a clean break, I would say. And it really just depends on, you know, what you have going on in your life and what's available. And it's really just a timing thing, how much more time you get to prepare your portfolio, hone in on different skills and things like that.
Wonderful. Now, even though it was covered before, we are getting a lot of questions in regards to the, you know, the application in terms of the selective aspect of it, and knowing that it is rolling admission and it's really, there is no deadline when it comes to the application itself, not financial aid application. There is a deadline there, but if you could speak more to, you know, the application selection process and how that works, you know, how students learn about, like when they'll learn about their placement and all of that.
I think I'll let Noah jump in there.
Yeah, I can address that. So students will we're going to start beginning to release decisions in late December. So anyone who's submitted an application from like November to very early December will hear from us then. And then we're going to continue releasing decisions probably on a weekly basis after that until the program is filled. And I just want to reiterate again, the program is open to everyone of all skill levels. So there's not application requirements, there's not a portfolio requirement. So it is open to everyone.
Excellent. And there was a
Sorry, with that being said, we do write those responses to those 4 questions. That really helps us to understand who you are as a student and kind of how you'll fit in with the RISD community. So it's important to take your time and provide thoughtful answers there as well.
Excellent. And is there a deadline for people to, and forgive me if you've already said it, but in regards to committing to attending pre-college, or is there some wiggle room if someone, you know, life gets in the way and they realize they can't attend for the summer? Could you speak to that process? We're getting a couple questions about that.
So students who are accepted, in order to secure your spot in the program, you do have to make a $1,000 non-refundable deposit payment. That is non-refundable. You know, life sometimes does happen, and we do review any exceptions to our non-refundable policy on a case-by-case basis. But once you secure your spot in the program, we then have a payment deadline of March 5th. That's when the payment is due in full. We also, after you secure your spot in the program, there are a lot of forms and requirements that you must complete in order to step foot on campus. That includes not only the housing application, but also our health services requirements, which are pretty extensive and require a physician's signature and vaccination records. We also have a lot of different forms that you have to sign off on, things with our student conduct policy, our consent to treat policies, things like that. So there is quite a bit that goes into really securing your spot in the program and doing and completing all the requirements.
Absolutely. We also are getting, speaking of application, can you, and you did talk about it already, but we are getting some questions just to explain further about, the financial aid application. All the information is on the website as well, but speaking more to those kinds of questions, if you could just reiterate that once more.
So our scholarship application does have a deadline. That deadline is Friday, January 24th. That means we are not reviewing any of those applications until after that part. So if you apply tonight for a scholarship application, you will not hear back during that December notification that we mentioned earlier. Our notification deadline, let me just pull it back up. Yep. So deadline is January 24th, and then we will notify students by February 14th. That is when scholarship applicants will be notified of their acceptance or not. If they are not accepted in the program, we do offer you the option to switch to a regular application, and then you're accepted then, and you start to, do the requirements, making the deposit payment, things like that. Scholarship students do not need to make that $1,000 deposit payment though. So there is quite a bit of information that is asked for in that scholarship application. In addition to the response questions, there's quite a bit of financial information because our scholarships are need-based. They're completely need-based, and they have in past years have gone to families that report a collective income of about $55,000 annually. So it's important that we have those financial statements to be able to make those financial decisions for students.
Excellent.
I also,
Go ahead,
sorry,
please.
I want to address the scholarship applications as well. We do hold spots in the majors for the scholarship applicants, so you won't be missing out on the majors. I encourage everyone to apply as soon as possible in order to secure a spot in their chosen major. But we do hold spots in the majors for the scholarship applicants as they come in.
Wonderful. Thank you. So we had a couple questions about, again, the artwork that you'll be creating and the portfolio it could yield. And certainly, because RISD is a culture of critique, and in your classes, you're going to not only learn how the technical skills and conceptual skills and get feedback in real time from your classmates, from your teachers. I wanted to, also speak to the fact that, yes, you'll be making artwork where you may want to just include in your portfolio for art schools. So there are going to be many opportunities, from admissions to receive feedback on your portfolios as well. And those are in the form of online portfolio days, and there'll be more information about that coming up. But certainly visit our page on admissions to learn more about opportunities to get feedback on your portfolio. But if either of you would like to speak also to just the kind of, critique atmosphere, or when it comes to the pre-college classes, and if there's anything you wanted to add to, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll let Noah speak a little bit about that, but I will say that the critique is, it's a time, it comes at a time where students are pretty busy, and critique can sometimes be shocking. And we do our best, from my point of view, from our student experience point of view, to really try and support students through that, because critiques can be scary. And they come at a very busy time during the term. But they're really, really valuable to learning and growing with your work. And Noah, maybe you can share a bit more about critique.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in my experience, when I came to pre-college, I went to a good high school with a good art program, but critique wasn't really a part of it. So it was definitely an adjustment. But, if you embrace that process of critique, I think you'll really find it worthwhile. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to grow a lot faster than you would if you're just working on your own. So I just would emphasize how valuable the critique process is. And I would recommend going into it with an open mind.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. As they both said, I just want to echo that again too, because the critique it's a skill set to learn how to receive feedback. It's very important. And it takes some time. It takes some time to also learn how to receive feedback and to give feedback and to speak to your work in such a way. So grant yourself that grace. It does take some time, but it's certainly very valuable. And as I was saying, will really strengthen. The whole point is to help strengthen your work. So any critique that you're receiving, the point is to make your artwork stronger. I just want to be mindful of time, and we have so many wonderful questions. I would love to, there was a wonderful question just about, speaking about this RISD pre-college program and compared to other programs. I know I certainly, am always amazed by what our pre-college students are doing. And I just wanted to kind of allow you, Noah and Christina, to speak to, you've already spoken to it in such wonderful ways with this presentation, was fantastic. But any final, just, words of wisdom, final, that you'd like to share about this, these incredible opportunities?
Yeah, maybe Noah, you want to maybe give a short.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one thing, again, just speaking from my experience as a student in the program, again, I went to a good high school with a good art program. I did outside classes, but the intensity of the program was definitely an adjustment. I went from doing an art class on a Saturday afternoon and, art 45 minutes a day to doing art 9 to 4, 4 days a week. And, that definitely takes some adjustment. It's hard at first. I think one of the really valuable things about that is that it really prepares you for art school, particularly RISD, because foundations year is going to be that intense work, just working on art all day long. And I think it's a great opportunity for people to see if that's for them. And for me, it certainly was, and I certainly got a lot out of it. And once you make that adjustment to doing art that much, it's a great experience.
Yeah, and I would just share that, Providence is the creative capital. Providence has a lot to offer, culturally, through community. I think having the experience to, be on your own in a city is, really a learning lesson in itself. It's a growth opportunity. A lot of students say that they leave the program with much more confidence, with, more knowledge of themselves, more knowledge of whether or not they even want to do art and design. Maybe they find that they, want to do something completely different, and that's okay as well. So I just think it's a really unique program. It offers you a real college experience, city life as well. You're not just on some, college campus in the middle of nowhere where you can't leave and there's, just you and the students there. You really get to immerse yourself into a creative community, and just kind of really take every ounce of the experience, as you want it to be. You can do as much or as little with it. So I think that Providence provides a unique experience in itself.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. It's in that creative community you're speaking to on RISD's campus and around RISD's campus is truly incredible. So I want to thank everyone so much for being here. I thank you all for your interest. Christina, Noah, thank you so very much for this incredible presentation and answering these questions. I'm excited for everyone who will be joining RISD Pre-College, whether that's over the summer or advanced program online. But thank you all so very much. And yes, this will be recorded and posted. And of course, reach out if you have any further questions about the program. And thank you all,
Yeah.
and have a wonderful rest of your
Yeah.
night,
Thanks, everyone.
day.
And feel free to email us, call us with questions. We're happy to chat through all of the things that maybe we didn't get to cover here. So thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay.